Hello, my beautiful pumpkins, and welcome back to the pumpkin patch. If you are new here, hello, my name is Kloee Taylor, and on this channel, I believe that we have the most autumnal, most cozy corner of the internet. So if you like the way that I read, you like my vibe, be sure to hit that subscribe button and become a member of the pumpkin patch. New content every single week here. And I do want to remind those of you that are new or are interested, we do have a Patreon. If you want to receive exclusive readings, early access to readings, cards of the month, horoscopes when we do them, and bonus content, please make sure to come and become part of the Patreon. It is truly that platform that allows me to do so much here and to offer more content here. So it's a really great way to support me and the work that I do. If you're interested, of course, that link will be provided down below for you. And let's go ahead and talk about this reading. So today's reading, I really just wanted to channel in from spirit whatever you need to hear right now. I know that we are about to start a brand new year together, and I feel like I just haven't sat and just channeled direct from spirit what you need to hear, you know? So this could be a myriad of messages. We're not really sure what's going to come up. I do recommend before choosing, I will put some meditation music on, of course. I will also give you some crystals, of course, to help you decide which pile. But I do recommend just taking a moment to sit with yourself, maybe do what is called a safe hold, where you place one hand on your heart and one on your belly, and just take a couple of deep breaths before making that choice, because I believe that it helps us to really connect with our heart center and the messages that our heart really needs to receive. So I'm going to go ahead and get some crystals for us to help you decide, and then we'll get into the meditation music. All right, so pile number 1, you have the smoky quartz. Pile number 2, you have a piece of tourmalated quartz. And pile number 3, you have a piece of howlite. So those crystals might be significant to you or in helping you choose, but whatever you choose, know that you are never going to choose wrong. It's okay to choose more than one pile if you feel called to more than one. Some people will even listen to the entire video and then make their decision after the fact. You can also look at the timestamps down below, see if any of your lucky numbers are present. There are so many ways to choose. Just trust yourself, trust your intuition, and know that you will never choose wrong. You were guided to this video because there was something you needed to hear. And I'm going to go ahead and turn up the meditation music for you, give you about a minute to decide, and then you can head to the timestamp either in the description box or in the top pinned comment. All right, pile number 1, if you chose the smoky quartz, which is here, then this is going to be your pile. So we are starting out with some tarot cards, and then we'll get into a bunch of oracle cards. We have for you the Knight of Cups, the High Priestess, the Page of Swords, Temperance, and then we also have the Two of Wands. So with what I'm seeing here, the Knight of Cups, the Page of Swords, I feel like I want to talk first about Temperance and the High Priestess, actually, because they are more like major aspects of your life right now. So with the High Priestess and Temperance, I feel that many of you that chose this pile, you are feeling called to pursue more of your higher self, more of your magic, more of your spirituality. And maybe you're feeling a little bit of overwhelm with that. But the thing is, with Temperance coming to balance that aspect within you, because you are extremely powerful. Spirit wants you to know that with the High Priestess being present, you maybe even have some psychic gifts that you haven't quite tapped into yet, or you're trying to hone them. But with Temperance, this is reminding you that it's okay to go slow. It's okay to really feel into those powers. It's okay to choose different things that maybe you want to pick up first. So meaning, let's take, for example, the realm of divination, right? We have tarot cards, we have scrying, we have dowsing, we have pendulums, we have runes. There are so many different ways of doing divination. Can we sit and do them all at once? No. We have to choose the ones, and I would recommend, and Spirit would recommend, that you start with the ones that light you up the most first. So maybe tarot cards really light you up, and so you want to get into studying those a little bit more. Maybe it's more about astrology for you, and you really want to understand astrology because it's a fascinating language to you, which to me, astrology is just the language of the stars. So I feel like this is really a call for you to start gradually adding in information, especially at the top of the year if you're wanting to get into, like, I hesitate to say a new hobby, but I feel like divination can be a hobby. I don't think it has to always be this very serious, structured thing. We can also study it like a hobby. And with the Knight of Cups and the Page of Swords, the Knight of Cups says this is more about you needing to romanticize your life more. Now, the Knight of Cups also can be a romantic person coming into your life this year. So, keep your eyes out for that, of course, always. I'm actually hearing from Spirit that some of you, this could actually come in the form of a couple of different people that are maybe interested in you because you're coming across as so powerful. The Knight of Cups and the Page of Swords can definitely be two individuals. So the Knight of Cups would be more somebody that is in their feelings, maybe a little bit more romantic. Maybe there's somebody that wants to pursue a more magical pathway with you, because I feel like the Knight of Cups is significantly more invested in their intuition. And the Page of Swords, this is going to be somebody that's a little bit more playful and somebody that is more into logic. So these two cards definitely are two different aspects. They're not, if it does come in the form of people for you, or this could also be friends too, I'm hearing. It's not necessarily romantic gestures. It could be friends as well that are coming into play in this reading for you. But with that Page of Swords aspect, I hate to say it, but sometimes the Page of Swords can be very careless, and the Page of Swords can be somebody that just doesn't think before they speak, and their words kind of hurt. They have more of a immature edge to the way that they speak, and it isn't always conducive to healthy relationships. So just be wary of that Page of Swords energy, whether it's you coming across that way or somebody else. But with the Page and Knight of Cups in pertaining to you and your own spiritual path and unfolding, this to me is very much your heart and your mind being in conflict with each other. This is, Knight of Cups says, immerse yourself in this, right? This cat literally has their head completely submerged in a bucket, right? Says, romanticize your life, immerse yourself in this, allow yourself to believe that magic exists and you'll find it. But the Page of Swords says, no, come at this from logic. What are you thinking? How can you believe that these things are true? How can you believe that they work? We are in such a, logic-based world that, we have to make it scientifically correct in order for us to understand. And the thing is, it's actually both. We can actually have both. It's okay to not have to have scientifical answers for every scientifical. I don't even know if that's a word. It's okay to not have every single answer. Sometimes things are just unexplainable. And I think we need to make more room for more of that magic to exist, because I think what is happening for you right now, pile number one, is that you want to exist in more of this like ethereal way of believing. You want to kind of exist more spiritually, and that's like very much coming out here, but you're having a hard time getting past the mental blocks that it would take for you to be there. It's like you don't want to feel like you are naive or like you're stupid or like you don't want other people to judge it either. And the thing is, your own belief system, spirituality, the way that you choose to divine, it's for you. It's not for other people. It can be. You can share those gifts with other people, but it's not for them to understand or believe. It's for you. And I think ultimately that's really what you need to hold on to. And the Two of Wands is really here to remind you that this is a really beautiful time for you to start trusting more in your spirituality, because the Two of Wands is about having opportunity. Like, and everybody has this. We can always tap into this place, this Two of Wands, of having this beautiful energy that we can choose to co-create anything with. And the Two of Wands says it's time to put that to the test. Because I feel like, again, it's your beliefs that you're wanting to shift, but you're having a hard time getting there. And Spirit is saying, test it, put it to the test. Ask for something specific from the universe. Ask for a gift. Ask for change. Ask for a miracle if that's maybe what it would take right now. And then let that thing go. Let go of whatever you're asking for and just wait for it to come back. Because that is really what the Two of Wands is it's, if we go from a Two of Wands into a Three of Wands, the three is waiting for the return. So when we're in this place of asking, of co-creating, of looking at what is it that we actually desire and how can I send that out, you're being asked to really take a leap of faith here. And I feel like for some of you, this might be a very difficult thing to do, because we immediately think, who am I to have this thing? Who am I to ask for this? Or why should I be allowed to do this when there's world suffering, et cetera, et cetera. But ultimately, in order to even start to heal within ourselves and to heal the collective, we have to start with us first. We have to start with right where we are and reflect inwardly to ourselves that which we hope to see without, because we are all part of the whole, right? I might be speaking nonsense to some of you, but I feel like I am feeling that very much when I read. It's a channel, but it's also a feeling thing. And I feel like that phrase maybe kind of confused some of you, but obviously, everybody has their own ways of believing things, and I never want to say that you should believe one way or the other. But what I mean when I say that, to clarify it for those of you that maybe are getting a little confused, is if we are all one, but we are also part of the whole, then in order for us to even begin to start to heal part of the whole, we have to start with the one. Does that make sense? I hope so. I hope I'm making sense. It feels like it. So this to me is all about your own like spiritual arc. That's what we're diving into for you, pile number one. So let's go ahead and see what else we have here for you. So we're going to pull out some oracle cards. We have for you the Kiss. And this card I really, really do like, because the Kiss is a card that it's kind of this like electricity and excitement. Think about if you're somebody that participates in the act of kissing, which granted, it's not for everybody, but if you are somebody that has participated in that or does participate, remember like your first kiss, that electric shockwave, right? That, or if you've ever felt like a really intense moment where there was a buildup to this moment, I feel like that's the energy that you are noticing right now. It's this electric shock energy of something feels like it's about to change. Something feels very serious and significant in my life. And the cool thing is it's going to allow you to connect with yourself in such a deeper way. It's going to allow yourself this sense of connection with the world at large, with the universe, with who you are. And I think ultimately that's the energy of the Kiss. Then we also have for you the Dead End. So I feel like for some of you, you might even feel like you're at your wit's end with some things in life. Maybe your life as a whole, you feel like you were just at a dead end. And I feel like this is where like a lot of people would like find God or something when they are at their dead end. But for you, it doesn't, it can be God for you if that's what you prefer to explain as the unknown or that unseen presence or whatever it might be for you. But it doesn't have to just be like finding a faith here in the earthly plane. This can be about finding your spiritual self, finding and being very comfortable with what is, a good friend of mine really likes to call it the ether or the source or that beautiful divine connection that we seem to have with the world around us. I feel like for a lot of people, they have to come to their dead end to get there, to see it, to see their magical thinking and magical ways of being manifest. And for you, this might be where you are right now. And Spirit wants you to know that you're not here because you're meant to just suffer all the time. You're not here because your life was meant to be horrible and traumatizing and you were meant to just endure suffering. That there can be an end to all of this, and there is. And this is about you regaining your strength after maybe a period of a lot of loss and a lot of uncertainty. And Spirit really wants me to dwell on this with you for a moment, because I think and I sense what you've been through has been really hard, and it's made you feel very alone and very isolated and very in the dark. And much like this hand trying to reach out through all of these, just like this darkness that's trying to cover it, right? It's just our one hand that's reaching up and saying like, oh, I don't know where to go from here. Help me. And it takes a lot of courage to even be and stand in this kind of position. So I just want to take a moment to honor you and your own journey and your own story of where you've been. Let's just take a deep breath there. I feel like there's a lot of energy that's trying to move. So let's just in through the nose, out through the mouth together. Okay. And then we have for you this card of Apocalypsis. And this card, Apocalypsis, what's interesting is it's not about the apocalypse. When we or not in the way that we talk about apocalypses. I don't even know what the plural word is, but when it comes to apocalypsis, honestly, the only thing we're really talking about is the end of an old way of being and into a new way of being. The apocalypse it's that ultimate destruction so that a new way of being can be born. And I think for you, and I'm getting the chills as I'm saying this is where you are. You are at this moment of, it's almost like the phoenix, right? As it burns into ashes and then rises again. You're at this point of, you've seen a lot of destruction. You've seen a lot of things have to melt away, and you've had to hold a lot. But now is the time where that rebirth gets to happen. And that, I feel like, is going to be your thread that is going to bring you through it, is this spiritual thread. It's the part of you that has remained very dormant, that it's now time to be embraced. This sense of spirituality is really what I'm getting. So we also have for you the cards. We have Treasure Island. Oh my gosh, I love this card. So notice we have this cute little turtle, and then there's treasure with all these little stars and hearts on him or her or them. But I think what's so cute is this is like finding buried treasure where we didn't expect to find it, right? When in your life have you ever seen a turtle out in the ocean and been like, oh, hey, there's a whole ass treasure chest just on this turtle? No, you have never seen that. And if you have, I need photos to prove it. Okay. I need to see this nonsense. Photos didn't happen, right? No, I'm totally kidding. Maybe you saw it in a dream. But with this is about finding treasure where you least expect it, finding the goodness in life where you least expected to find it, finding your hope and your own light again where you least expected to find it. And I think for you, this again is that return to your own sense of spirituality. Whatever that looks like for you, that is where the buried treasure is. That is where you are going to see that sunrise again. That is where you are going to find so much richness and wonder for your life that maybe has been really, really missing. And then we also have serendipity. So Spirit is also saying that this is going to happen in such a magical way for you. You have such a magical reading, period. This is going to happen in such a magical way for you, pile number one, that it's going to feel serendipitous. You're not going to be able to deny it because it's going to be so uncomfortably true that you will not be able to deny it. And even if other people think you're crazy or like, you will not be able to live any other way or do it differently because it's going to be one of those truths that echoes so loudly that you will be forever changed when you start to uncover your magic and your power and your connection to divinity. And I want to really impress here that it's not going to be about you needing to oppress other people with your beliefs. It's going to be about you just believing something so wholeheartedly for yourself that you won't be able to live a different way. I think this is actually going to be a really welcomed and good thing for you. Maybe even presented by some kind of like 4-leaf clover. Maybe that's a significant image for you. All right, then we have for you, we got a few from the Green Witch Oracle. We have for you the card of luck with the lime being present here. And we also have the symbol of Capricorn depicted in the card. So I feel like with this card, this is really like, with luck in Capricorn, this is about creating your own luck. And I say that because Capricorn is generally a pretty hardworking sign. You don't see Capricorn not working for what they have. They're driven in that way. And for you, with luck and lime coming through here, it's you kind of creating and manifesting your own luck through putting your energy into something, be it some kind of divination, some kind of magic form, some kind of something. And I want to reiterate here, yes, we've talked a lot about divination today, but your magic can also manifest in different ways. Your magic can be public speaking. Your magic can be writing books. Your magic can be teaching to people. It doesn't have to come in the form of the things that I specifically outlined. Those are merely suggestions. Your magic can manifest in so many different ways. And then we also have for you the card. Oh my gosh, look. 2 citrus fruits. Yo, okay, there's a message here. So I want you to pay attention here to the fact that we got 2 citrus fruits, and citrus is all about, like, even if we look at using aromatherapy and using citrus usually is something that is used to help provide us with energy, in the sense that, like, if you want to boost to your day or your mood, you would put on like orange essence or bergamot or grapefruit, or, you know, there's usually a citrus note to wanting energy. It's just, it's like a metaphysical correspondence. And so for you, especially those of you that have felt really like you don't have energy, your inner fire is gone, this to me is noting to you that that is returning to you. So I love that message. That's beautiful. Oh my gosh. And then I said inner fire. I didn't even see this. There's like a little cauldron with steam, and it looks kind of like fire, but it might just be steam. And then we have the sign of Virgo being depicted here, which again, another earth sign. Capricorn, Virgo are earth signs. This could be you, sun, moon, rising, or it could just be, you know, what does earth energy represent, right? We have earth energy usually is very, there are so many ways to describe earth energy, but I feel like in its essence, it tends to be a little more grounded, a little more stable, I don't want to say gentle, because I think that Capricorn isn't always the most gentle. Virgo can be, and Taurus, I would say, is probably the most gentle of the three, but they're just a lot more real. They're a lot more quote unquote down to earth. They will tell you things like it is, and they will go after the things that they want with different approaches, of course, because they're all different signs. But This to me really is just a return of your energy. And then lastly, we have for you, oh my goddess. Do you see this? Do you? I cannot make this shit up if I tried. Like, you literally got the card of divination, 14 chives. It also has the symbol of Scorpio on it. Are you joking? This is like getting back into your own. Yo, if you feel called to any form of divination, please take this as a sign that it is time for you to get invested, because, oh my gosh. I am honestly shocked and in disbelief. I'm like, that doesn't even need explaining. It just is what it is. You literally got the card of divination. I cannot. That's literally what we've been sitting here talking about. Okay, and then the last card I have for you, pile number 1, is escaping the dream. Free yourself from the cycle of expectation. It is safe to open your eyes, to wake up to your own truth and declare yourself. Ooh, I just got the chills. And do you notice we talked about the phoenix, right? And that's kind of what this looks like right here. And then there's a person with these wings, these like bird wings kind of coming to life here. I love this deck. I link all the decks that I use down below for you as well. But this is literally you, like, I hesitate to say escaping the matrix, because I think sometimes that message gets very lost in the sauce, if you know what I'm saying. But I do feel like in some regard, this is about you creating your own life and your own path and way into being. And it's not based on anybody else's logical thinking. It's you becoming really comfortable with your own forms of spirituality and divination and creating your life in a way that really supports who you are. And I love this for you, pile number 1. This was such a beautiful reading. Please do not forget, when you stand in your own authenticity, you empower everyone around you to do the same. If you want more content from me, of course, I have the Patreon, where you can get exclusive readings, early access to these readings, weekly energy. There's a back catalog of I don't even know how many videos that you can't get anywhere else. You can only get them on the Patreon. So definitely head over there and check it out. I also do link all the cards down below. And if you would like to support me and my work, it is never an expectation, but always appreciated. I have my Cashapp, Venmo, and PayPal listed down below for you always. And I feel like there's one more thing I'm forgetting to say here. Also, of course, if you want to follow me on Instagram and TikTok, I'm at Kloee Taylor. I do have a Twitter, but I don't really use it, but it is also at Kloee Taylor. Like, I don't even follow anyone. Twitter is kind of scary to me. Not in like a esoteric, scary way, but it's just sometimes a little overwhelming for my sensitive heart over there. But I feel like there was one more thing I wanted to say, and it is, I guess it wasn't very important. Oh, my podcast. I wanted to mention that here really quickly. So my podcast, available everywhere you listen to podcasts, Spotify, Apple, Google. It is called Authentic and Unapologetic, but we are actually rebranding to Divine Authenticity in the new year. So I will put the new link down below for you if you are wanting to listen to it. There are plenty of episodes already out. We mostly focus on spiritual knowledge there, but many of you didn't even know I had a podcast. So I just wanted to throw that out here at the end. And that is all I have for you, my beautiful humans, my beautiful humans, my beautiful, beautiful, beautiful pumpkins. I love you so much. Have a wonderful rest of your day. And, go take this life. Take it for what it is. This is your life. This is your life. And it's your turn. It's your turn to feel good about that. All right. I'll talk to you soon. Bye. All right, pile number 2, if you chose the tourmalated quartz, that's this crystal right here, this is going to be your reading, what you need to hear from Spirit at this time. We have for you the 4 of Wands, the Knight of Swords, the King of Cups, the 3 of Wands, and the 7 of Swords. So I feel like first I really want to pay attention to kind of the abundance of chaotic energy, because, well, no, I wouldn't even say that actually. I do feel like the 7 of Swords and the 3 of Wands can be that sometimes, especially that 7 of Swords, and maybe even the Knight of Swords. But you know what? I shouldn't say that because we do have the King of Cups right here in the middle of the reading, which to me really says that there might be chaos going on, but we're actually feeling really centered in where we are. And the chaos can ensue, but it doesn't really, we're unbothered basically. So with the King of Cups at the heart of your reading, this to me very much represents you. You are somebody that you know how to fill your own well. You've done a lot of personal work with yourself. You are very comfortable with your emotions. And if this doesn't sound like you, this is the person you are becoming. You are becoming somebody that is very comfortable in feeling your emotions, and in so much so that you're able to support not only yourself, but those people around you that come to you with their emotional discomfort. And I think this is a beautiful place to be, because this Seven of Swords tells me that there might be some people out there, like people that say like, oh, you're too sensitive, or you're such a special snowflake, or, that kind of energy being directed at you. But I really feel like you're actually quite unbothered by it, because you realize that that says more about them than it ever is going to about you. When people judge from that place of calling others too sensitive, or they literally can't fathom being so in tune with one's emotions. And honestly, the saddest part is that most people that have that attitude, they've never made space for their own emotional well-being, because they don't know how. And to them, they have subscribed to the idea that emotional fulfillment or being in tune with your emotions is a sign of weakness. And for you, you just don't exist there anymore. And maybe you did at one time. So I do feel like if there is any chaos going on, it's because there is this imbalance of maybe people that you used to connect yourself with that you don't really anymore. And I feel like there maybe is even a little bit of splitting going on for you right now, where you're having to move away from people that really don't know who you are or who you are becoming. And let this be a sign of people that maybe you do need to kind of turn your back on. And I don't mean that you can't give people love. I think there's a really big misunderstanding in today's world that if you choose not to have a relationship with somebody, that means you're angry or you don't forgive them. When that's not the case, you can be loving and forgiving of somebody and still retract your energy and not let them drain you of your vital life force. It can be two things. And I feel like for you, I really hear that with this Three of Wands here. We have this cat that has its back turned to this other cat that is playing with this ribbon. And don't get me wrong, we all need a sense of play in our life. But I think for you, you don't want to do things the way that they've been done before. Like, to really put this in perspective, I mean, obviously this is not to denounce how adorable cats are and how they get their energy and their play out, but it's almost like, have you ever heard of the term rewilding, or like bringing back your wildlike nature? Because I feel like for cats, they normally would play with their own prey outside. And this, again, I'm not trying to tell you we shouldn't have cats. Cats literally domesticated themselves because they realized that they could get food from humans if they hung out with them. So this is literally just an example. Like, let's take it, for instance, on like a tiger perspective. So tigers, they want to be out in the wild. They want to be free. They want to be wild and in tune with their primal nature. And this to me is almost like the message of like a caged animal, where they're not getting their play where they would outside. They're getting it stimulated from inside by somebody else. And I think for you, you are paving a new pathway where you are not looking to others for what you need. You are looking to yourself for what you need. And I think that is a really powerful place to be. It's you not listening to what other people have to say about you and what you're doing. You're literally turning your back on the criticism and deciding to live life in a new way that brings you closer to yourself. And then With the Four of Wands and the Knight of Swords, the Four of Wands, this is celebration. I feel like your soul, your spirit, your divine self really wants to celebrate where you are right now, because this is a chapter that maybe you've wanted to unfold for a long time. And the Knight of Swords is here to remind you that I feel the Knight of Swords, yes, this is about like speaking your truth into existence or writing it or using some like mercurial form of expressing yourself, whether it be like through using your intellect in some way, through writing, through speaking, through channeling, whatever it might be. The Knight of Swords is doing that expressing. But I feel like here's the thing. You might be expressing yourself, but you no longer express yourself to people that are hell bent on misunderstanding you. That's what I'm getting from this. You are literally doing life on your own terms and you are feeling good. Like it's literally that energy of like peaceful and unbothered. Like you don't have time anymore to be bothered with the social graces, niceties, perfectionism, anything that other people would say that you have to hold yourself to. You are at a point in your life where you are remaining peaceful and unbothered and you're doing things in your own way. So let's go ahead and look into some oracle cards here. We have for you the Sword. So this card really is about cutting through the nonsense. I mean, even if we look at the imagery of this card, we have the sword is like cutting through like a bolt of lightning, right? Or cutting through the light and the dark. And for you, I think this is about cutting through the nonsense that other people are trying to give to you. You are literally cutting through the bullshit and saying, absolutely not. This again is also a very powerful card of self-expression because the Knight of Swords literally partnered with the sword from this deck. This is about committing to expressing yourself freely and not allowing other people to tear down how you actually feel and express. So I think this is great. I see this as you being your most authentic self. And what do we always say on this channel? When you stand in your own authenticity, you empower everyone around you to do the same. So we love to see this. This is brilliant and beautiful. And, keep fighting the good fight for yourself, And again, I want to reiterate here, I don't even think you're fighting with anybody. You don't have time for that. You're done fighting. You're not going to fight this other cat for his toy. You're not going to, even in the times when you are leaping and expressing yourself, notice there's nobody else around in that Knight of Swords card. It's literally just this one cat expressing, leaping for joy, jumping. And there's a lot of solidarity there. But I think, again, it's solidarity in the name of your own peace. And you're happy about that. So the Sword card being here to not pay attention to the nonsense and kind of cutting through it, I think this is also a lot about cutting through the nonsense in your own mind, where your mind might tell you you're not lovable or creative enough, or, all the ways in which our minds like to plague us with ideas of who it thinks we are to keep us safe, where you're like, no, we're believing things in a new way now. So I love that. We also have for you the card of agape, I think is how you say that. And agape, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I was curious if this was supposed to be like the chakra centers, but I want to say with the chakras, there's 7 of them. It's not just 6, because it's the root, the sacral, the solar plexus, the heart, the throat, the third eye, and then the crown. So it almost mimics the chakra center points. I mean, because I pulled that out initially, this also might be a call to work on clearing your chakra centers. But I also think this is a lot about receiving power from your own internal guidance, like not your own internal guidance system like spirit or source or something. This is about you receiving guidance from literally your own inner flame and your own internal guidance system. I kind of want to pull the book on this one because I'm curious. So let's grab that. apologies. It sits behind me. Okay, so let me just take a look at this. Okay, so this is also about like kind of what I said. It's about you kind of getting energy and assurance from yourself, right? From like lighting your own internal flame. But this is also about just really being in the flow with unconditional love. But I want to actually read this passage as well, because I feel like for some of you, this is going to just be a really powerful mention of this card. So, and I'm just reading from the book that came with these cards. And I do link all the decks down below if you want to get any of these cards for yourself. So with agape, which I think is how you say this, or agape, I'm not sure. What if instead of putting yourself at the center of your spiritual practice, you put God, the goddess, or nature? So I want to reiterate here. You are the universe. You are nature. Like we talk about putting like an external force at the center, but we need to remember that you are also those things. The same things that make up the stars make up the blood in your body. So even when we talk about something that is beyond, you also are still that. So let's continue. How would this change your approach? Such is the energy of agape. It is alive when we are in awe and wonder and breath taken by the sacred force that surrounds us and asks for nothing in return. This card can indicate a spiritual initiation that stretches your capacity to love and serve. You sense the earthly as the heavenly and vice versa. Such an initiatory moment can appear in any form, and like a healing balm to the modern soul, its effects last a lifetime. The agape card may also suggest you reassess what you worship every day. What are you elevating? What does the sacred ladder you climb ultimately lead to? So this is about also asking yourself where everything you're doing is going. Like when it comes to your day-to-day life, your spiritual practices, your career, your relationships, every piece of your life, where is the energy that you are feeding into? Where is it going out to? And what are you aligned with right now? You know, let's say, for example, in business, maybe you're really focused on money or viewership or what have you, when in reality, if those things were taken care of, what would be behind that? Would you be, and I think there's a lot to say about service to others. I don't believe that we should ever be or put ourselves in a place of service to others if we are not ready to actually give. And it shouldn't just be in the name of service, because sometimes that can lead us to feeling like we always have to be in service. And maybe that's not actually where we choose to be or what makes us feel good. I just want to dwell on that. Spirit is kind of saying that we need to move on from this card. I was trying to feel for more information, but I think that's the end of that one. Okay, then we have Kairos, which I want to say this card is all about like mythic time and getting in tune. I'm going to double check the book. These cards I'm not as, like, I'm familiar with them, but they definitely are a lot more complex. Like if you ever get this deck for yourself, you will definitely understand. They are significantly more, yeah, I thought so. This is the mythic time. So when it comes to mythic time and this card, this is about getting into the flow of your own life and not paying attention to a clock time. So this is like where you might like, oh, this is actually such a wonderful card. Sorry, I'm stumbling over my words because Spirit has given me way too much at once. Slow down, Spirit. For example, I think this is going to bring this card into a really beautiful, like through this experience that I'm going to explain to you, I think this is going to make a lot of sense of this card. So in my own experience, I went through a period where I was really frustrated with the way that I was sleeping. I'm self-employed. I don't have children, so I can, kind of wake and sleep as I want to and work as I want to, which is a beautiful thing. But the thing is, I was sleeping until like noon and judging myself extremely harshly and then not getting anything done. And there came a point where I said, you know what? Nobody holds me to a standard. I'm holding myself to this outdated idea of time where, don't get me wrong, I know some people have jobs that they have to go to, they have children they have to get up with, and this story may not hit the same way for everybody. But for me, I was holding myself to this unconscious standard that I had been programmed with from my own parents. And being in a position where I could shape that in any way that I wanted to and removing the judgment, what first happened was I was going to bed at 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, sleeping all day and waking up at night. And that happened for weeks. And I just tried my best not to judge it and just to let it be how it was and just to trust that whatever I needed, just trust my body that when I'm tired, I should sleep. And when I'm awake, I should be awake. And if I got tired, take a nap, just really trusting my own body to tell me what it needs. And what I noticed started to happen was eventually I've gotten to a place where I wake up between 4 and 6 a.m. naturally, no alarms, and I go to bed between 7:30 and 10 p.m., somewhere in there. And that's where my body has rested pretty comfortably for a little bit. And what I came to notice is it was the same with my work. I used to feel like if I got into work at a certain time, the whole day was ruined. And now it's 10:30 in the morning when I'm recording this. I had no idea. I don't even know what time I started work because it didn't matter. I just wanted to be in the flow of being here. And that's kind of what this card is about. It's asking you to not conform to a societal standard of what time looks like. And instead, if you allowed yourself to just flow and allowed yourself to play or create and not put the limitation of time on it, what would happen? So that might just be a call for something you want to try to express or experience in your life. So next we have for you, No Place Like Home. And I like this card because I think this is about making your home a literal like serenity or a place where you can truly retire and relax. And if your home doesn't feel like that right now, maybe there's a lot of chaos in the house, this is about creating a space in your home for you to feel good. This is something that your soul is calling you to need right now. And for your own spiritual development, your own personal development, and in keeping yourself unbothered and happy, this is something that you need. So whether it be a corner of a room, whether it be in a bathtub, whether it be a whole room or a whole house, whatever you have, maybe it's a corner in your backyard, this is a call to make a peaceful space that is serving only to you right now. And then we also have for you the card of higher power. Ooh, so interesting too. I feel like pile 1 and this pile are a little bit linked in their call to spirituality, but this card is ultimately about surrendering to a higher power. And I want to remind you once again that you are the all. Like, I hesitate to say this because I think sometimes it can come across as like somebody having a God complex, but you literally are God. You are the goddess. You are God. You are a universe. You are a multitude of everything and everything that will ever be. The same things that make up this universe make up you. And because of that, yes, we can still be supported by source, by God, by the goddess, by the universe, by the ether, whatever that might be. But you need to remember that you also contain multitudes and you can connect to this higher power at any time because you are literally a conduit for that energy. And I feel like for you, this is really a call to get into some kind of a daily spiritual practice, whether it's a meditation that makes you feel spiritually connected, grounding outside, singing, dancing. I have really been enjoying There's a channel on YouTube called like Active Vibrations or something. She does light language stuff, but she also makes music on Spotify that sometimes I just like to put it on and dance to it in any way that feels good. Nobody's watching me. Like, I feel like that is a good way to connect your energy to something beyond as well. This can also come in the form of tarot card reading. This can come in the form of divination. If you feel a special pull to a new kind of spirituality for yourself or picking up old spiritual habits, I would really advise you to listen to pile number 1 as well, because I definitely think, especially with agape and higher power, you are definitely being called to have a connection with spirituality that maybe has been missing in your life. So we also have for you passion, and this comes in beetroot, as well as, I want to say this is the south node. It's one of the nodes. I can never I want to say this one is the, I want to say this is the north node. I think the south node is flipped. So being the north node, this is about well, yeah, especially with passion. I feel like this is really about finding that passion in your life to express yourself fully. And I don't look at the King of Cups as being somebody that is so passionate, but I feel like if you've been lacking a lot of passion in your life, be it with a significant other or just passion within yourself, maybe you've been doing a lot of deep thinking and resting and meditating, but this ultimately is a call to open yourself up to being more passionately driven towards life. And I think as you create this safe space, as you open yourself up to more spirituality, changing the way you feel about time, that is going to be just a result, an automatic result of it. So I like that. Then we also have for you focus with the stock card, and Sagittarius is showing up for us on here with a little Sagittarius symbol. I feel like this is also about focusing. This is very linked with pile number 1. This is about focusing your energy into some kind of like philosophy, spirituality, because Sagittarius is a very spiritual sign. I know some people might fight me on that, but I will stand by that. Sagittarius is ultimately a very spiritual sign, and it's a sign that likes to know more. It is, to me, the higher power. Like, Sagittarius, though very philosophical and very logical, they also are extremely spiritual signs because they tend to want to go beyond just what is in the here and now. And this to me is a call to focus your intention there. And then lastly, we have protection with, is there no? Oh, Aries right here. Little Aries symbol. So protection, this to me, this card always comes out when either you are being divinely protected by a higher power or presence or your spiritual team, or it also can manifest itself in telling you that it's time to up your magical protection. So this can come in the form of cleansing in some way, getting black candles. White candles are good too. I also really like, there's a local place to me that makes small batch Florida water that I really like. You can use rue, I've heard is a really good one. I've never used that personally, but I hear it's good. But any way that you feel you are called to work on just like mystical protection. I feel like some of you that maybe are scared to move into any kind of spiritual practice for yourself, it's this fear that has been ingrained. And Spirit is ultimately saying to you, as long as you're smart about the protective modalities, you're going to be fine. Like, it's your practice is your practice, and it's okay to sink deeper into that. You are safe. We also have the house being depicted here. You're safe in your own vessel, in your home, in your body, and it's okay for you to want to experience new things, express yourself in new ways, and get more in tune with yourself. And then the last card we have for you is a glimpse of grandeur. A dream you thought expired has simply transformed into a million seeds of possibility. Take a deep breath, make a wish, and don't give up. Dream bigger. So this is also about you getting integrated into what you were passionate about in the past. So ask yourself that. If you're feeling very passionless in your life right now or very solitary and you want to expand more, ask yourself what you used to love doing and connect with that. So that is what I have for you, pile number 2. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please do not forget, when you stand in your own authenticity, you empower everyone around you to do the same. If you would like to join our community on Patreon, it is certainly appreciated. It helps me to continue to do the work that I do here for free. And you also get some extra content. You get an entire library that is full of videos that you get access to the moment you join. You get weekly energy updates, early access to these videos before they come to the channel, horoscopes when we do them, bonus content. There's all kinds of stuff over there. So definitely check it out. New stuff gets added every week to the Patreon. Honestly, the Patreon, I know we haven't had a lot of uploads here this month, but the Patreon has remained consistent. Like, I have constantly put up stuff on Patreon this entire month. So it's just a good place to connect with me. And it is never expected, but always appreciated if you would like to support me farther. I do have my Cashapp, Venmo, and PayPal listed down below. I do accept tips for my readings, but again, I don't expect that from you. And I also link all of the decks. Is there anything else? My podcast. My podcast, it's available everywhere you listen to podcasts. It is being rebranded in the new year to Divine Authenticity, but I will provide the link down below for you. It's available on Apple, Google, Spotify, everywhere you listen to podcasts. And my Instagram, my TikTok, I'm at Kloee Taylor. And that is everything, my beautiful soul. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope this gave you some much needed guidance on your path. And I'll speak to you again soon. I love you, pumpkin. Bye. All right, pile number 3. If you chose the Howlite, this would be your crystal, and this is your pile. We're going to first get into some tarot cards, and then we will get into a bunch of oracle cards that I have for you. So starting out at the heart of your reading, we have the 5 of Wands. Then we have the 8 of Cups, the 6 of Cups, the King of Pentacles, and the Lovers. So beings at the heart of your reading is the 5 of Wands. I'm feeling like maybe there has been a lot of chaos because the 5 of Wands is a card that it literally is just the card of chaos or drama for the sake of chaos or drama. It doesn't really elicit anything good. It's just like, it's like spiraling the same drain, spiraling the same conversations, the same arguments with no resolution in sight. And often it's because us or another party can't see beyond it because it's all we've ever been in. And this doesn't have to be us fighting with other people. This can be us fighting with ourselves, fighting with our own mental intellect, fighting with how we see the world, how we do our day to day. This can be us just battling our own inner worlds, but it also can be us actually battling with other people. So I feel like at the heart of your reading, this might be what is concerning right now. Maybe that's why you stumbled across this reading, is you really need some guidance in how you're feeling right now. And Spirit ultimately wants you to know right off the bat, as I was like meditating before this reading, is that especially if you're somebody that you feel like you cycle the same situation, like maybe this is something that has been reoccurring for you, Spirit wants you to know that everything goes in cycles. I mean, even if I can give you examples from my own life, at age 16, I went through my very first heartbreak, and it was almost a year-long process of some of the darker times of my adolescent life. And then at 23, I went through this huge move and separation from my family after realizing a lot of dysfunction and wanting a shift in my life. And like, I went through a really hard period, literally almost 7 years apart from that. And now 7 years beyond that, at 30, I've also gone through a really big transformative time. And all of them are kind of synchronistic and link up together. But what in those experiences and me sharing that with you, I want to remind you that it doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with you. It doesn't mean that you constantly are cycling the same stuff. It's literally you coming in contact with this same thing. So like, let's say we're circling, right? You circling around, hitting this same problem, if this is the problem right here, hitting this same problem, but you are getting closer and closer and closer to yourself, because every time we go on this spiral that we call life, every time we continue to move forward, yes, we might be meeting those same issues again and again and again, but we're hitting them from a new level of consciousness and with a new perspective from ourselves. And without a doubt, I can tell you that everything changes. Everything changes. And even if we're faced with more of this situation in the future, you're going to hit it from a different perspective again. And so even if this might be a very chaotic time for you, or you're dealing with a lot mentally, or you're dealing with a lot in your personal relationships, Spirit ultimately wants to remind you that even if this seems like a reoccurring issue, every time you're hitting it from a different place and it's not actually the same. And you are going to get something out of it, no matter what. This is something that you are currently experiencing because there is takeaways from it that you are meant to have. So we have for you, outside of this, the Eight of Cups and the King of Pentacles. I'm wondering if there might be some chaos around your finances and maybe how somebody else around you spends money. Like maybe you're in a partnership of some kind and like the partner is spending money a certain way, or you are. I say that because paired with the Eight of Cups here, this to me is almost like just throwing money away, throwing money down the drain, or we're judging ourselves for how we spend our abundance. And that is what this chaos is pertaining to. And Spirit is inviting you at this time to look at how you have dealt with finances from the past, not only in yourself, but you as this little tiny kitten here. How did your parents deal with money in the past? Because that often will give us a direct insight, or not just parents, could be caretakers as well. That will give us direct insight to how we manage our own abundance and why it might be chaotic. Did your parents feel safe with money? Did they teach you that abundance was an unlimited resource, or did they teach you scarcity mindset? Because that's going to give you a direct insight to what you need to work through in order to get beyond this experience and to meet it from a different place next time. Because I feel like you might be circling back down this, but again, you have a new perspective, and from this experience, you're going to even gain another new perspective. So maybe this is the first time you're considering this. Oh, I think that I'm the problem and I'm just bad with abundance. But maybe the way that you were taught to behave around abundance is actually where it's stemming. And looking back on the past, the Six of Cups is our past and our family and our relationships with those closest to us. Maybe looking back on the past can give us some really good information on how we can kind of combat this in the future. And with the Lovers out here, I like this card because not only does it tell me the story of we will get to harmony, because look at these cats. They're totally in harmony. They're just chilling. They're vibing. And then we have the beautiful golden sun coming out. We have these planes underneath them, it looks like, or maybe it's a rug. We have this kind of this beautiful, peaceful moment. And that to me is what is beyond the chaos. That is what is beyond the chaos of what is going on here. And this is ultimately where you have the power to go. You have the ability to see what has been happening for what it is and to move beyond it and to experience more harmony in this regard, if you will allow yourself to see it from that higher perspective, from that higher mind, and open yourself up to what might this be trying to teach me? What might I be in, like, why is this happening for me instead of why is it happening to me? And you can, in fact, change the way that you interact with abundance. It might take some more tools that maybe you don't have at this time. Something I always recommend to people, if you're struggling with abundance mindset is both books, You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero and her second book, You Are a Badass at Making Money. Both of those books, incredible books for self-development and also just rethinking the way that you treat abundance in general. And I feel like they were the first two books that I came across in self-development that changed my entire perspective on money, where I'd come from, what I was doing, why I felt the way I felt. And I was able to reprogram myself into a different reality that better reflected what I wanted. So just some food for thought. If those are some books that you haven't read, I highly encourage them. And especially like if you just need like a boost in self-esteem as well, I feel like those books are really good at that, helping you to facilitate that. But in any case, I do feel like that is the core of this pile. So let's go ahead and kind of suss this out a little more with some oracle cards. So first and foremost, we have the seed. And this card is really about planting a new seed and allowing this seed to grow. Because if you'll notice this card, it's also, it almost looks like a tree stump, and how when you cut a tree down, you can see all these rings in the tree from where it has grown. And I think this also is very symbolic as to what I was already talking about with literally, if this is you in the center, the seed, right? You constantly circle yourself and you get closer and closer and closer and closer to that center, to the source of who you are. But we have to keep meeting sometimes the same problems over and over and over until we get to that point of being healed from them. And so I feel like coming to this reading for you and seeing this seed card, this is a reminder that eventually you won't deal with this. Eventually you will meet this issue and you're going to go, oh, I totally have a different perspective on this, and this will not affect me the way that it used to. And that is the time period that is coming for you as you are really developing your thought process around this. We also have for you the card of the flame. And this card is about really igniting your own inner passion, your own inner flame, your own inner energy, so that you can create a life that is designed by you instead of being designed or cut out by somebody else. So I feel like nobody's really going to be able to do this for you. Like even when I talk about this card, the flame, I can't tell you specifically what it's going to be for you because I'm getting a multitude of answers. And it would be impossible for me with how many people see this reading to tell you exactly what is going to do this for you. But you do have the ability to ignite yourself. You don't need something outside of you to do that. And I promise you that power is already there within you. It's never left you. It's still there. Maybe a little dormant right now, but it's still there. Maybe covered by the chaos or the worries of the world that you're dealing with, but it's still there. And then we have for you the card of the animal. And this card is really about getting in touch with your animalistic side, your animal instincts. So this is just going to be your basic primal survival self and really tending to that part of you. I've encouraged this before on my channel and I still do. Obviously, if you don't feel safe enough to do it on your own, I always recommend doing this like with a therapist or somebody that you trust being there to hold the space and support you, because I never want you doing things alone and hurting yourself in the process. But doing what I call parts work. I don't even know if that is specifically what it's called. I want to say I've really more heard it referred to as like active imagination, but basically this is about going into like a meditative state. And I always say conjuring up a house of some kind that houses all the pieces that make you up. And like for me, if I could give you an example, I have my higher self lives in there. My future self lives in there. My infant self lives in there. The part of me that is the inner child lives in there. At every age, there's an infant, there's a 5-year-old, there's a 3-year-old, there's me at every stage of my life. And then there are also parts of me like my shadow self, my primal self. And for you, I think the reason this could be coming up is if this sounds like something you would want to do, you can connect with that primal sense of self through doing active imagination and just showing up in meditation to this house and asking that primal self to come out and what they need and what they need to express. Because I really get the sense that maybe you've been operating from survival mode and you need to get this part of you to become comfortable so you can get out of survival mode. And so asking what this part of you needs to feel that will be a really good indicator of the path that you will need to take. So just some food for thought there. Maybe you try it, maybe you don't. I don't have any kind of guided meditation on that or anything, but the second I find one or somebody makes one that I find, like I will point you in that direction. But next we have for you the card of flexible. So this card is really just about remaining open, remaining flexible to circumstance and not getting so rigid and set in how something should be. And especially when it pertains to your financial wellness, your abundance. If you are fixed on this, I can only earn money if I work 40 hours a week, that is going to keep you right where you are. Like money can come in the craziest ways. Again, if I could give you an example, the month of December, I think I've uploaded like once this month, and I've taken a lot of time for myself. And I was very scared to do that. But ultimately I said, Spirit, God, Source, I need to be supported right now. I need to be supported. I need time for myself. How can you give that to me and like basically bring me that support so I can know if I'm supposed to be resting? And when I tell you like 3 checks showed up in the mail for pretty substantial amounts of money that I was not expecting, that totally supported me through the month of December and allowed me that time to take for me so I could come back and show up for my work in a way that really actually helps the collective. Remaining open to those possibilities is so important. If we constantly try to control and constrict how we think it will happen, that takes away the magic of the entire thing. And the universe doesn't work that way. The universe, God, Source, doesn't work in the I have to control the outcome. It works more in the surrender. So allowing the surrender to happen, allowing yourself to remain open and flexible. Then we have for you to the sea. And I think ultimately this card is really here to, this could be a direct call. If you live by the ocean or can get to an ocean, go there. I think there might be a really important message for you at the ocean. If not, and you can't go there, this to me is also about going into your emotions, because the sea, metaphorically, we talk about the ocean and our emotion. And I feel like for you, this is also about emotional healing, going into the emotions that you're feeling to try to see what's actually going on, especially with the 6 of Cups coming out. That can be a card that really unearths some things for us that we weren't even privy to until we go there, until we ask ourselves those important questions of who taught me to behave this way around abundance, who said that this was how it had to be, and why is this my story about abundance, or is it somebody else's? Or is this how I should feel about myself, or did somebody tell me to feel this way about myself? Go to the sea. I like that. So next we have some cards from the Greenwich Oracle. And first we have Vitality with Taurus coming out for us. And I like this because Taurus to me really is like the vitality sign, right? Taurus is the maiden, is like the true goddess of spring, in my opinion. And with vitality, what does vitality mean to you? What does it mean to have vitality in your life? And how can you strive to get to that point of vitality, of having it in your life? I feel like this is another, like your reading has been mostly based around questions that you need to be asking yourself and getting those answers from yourself. So with vitality, I feel like there might be some piece of your life that feels really off balance. It doesn't just have to be the finances. This could be also just like in how your body feels, in how you're taking care of your vessel. You maybe don't feel standing in vitality the way you would like to. And I think this is a call really to pay attention to that. What are you feeding your body right now? Are you moving your body? Are you able to, I feel like this ultimately is a call for your vessel, like the vessel that houses your soul, right? The body. I don't know why that's coming up so strongly, but to me, this is the body coming out and saying like, hey, I need you to be present with me and be here with me and get back into what it means to have vitality. And then we have agreement with the strawberry, with the Libra symbol. So this is going to be balance, right? Libra is our balance symbol, but also this could be about making an agreement with somebody else. Those of you that I was talking about, maybe you have a partner or somebody that spends money really like carelessly and you feel like it's always being wasted. This might be all about making an agreement with them that you are going to commit to choosing and doing things differently, or making an agreement with yourself that you are going to operate differently moving forward. And don't judge yourself if it takes time to integrate these changes with yourself. And then lastly, we have, or it's not lastly, we have another card still after this, but from this set of cards, we have for you the card Memory with Rosemary, with the, man, I wonder if this is supposed to be Leo, because it looks like it's the North Node, like it's not closed right here, but it might just be the symbol for Leo, and I've been telling everybody wrong. But especially because there's the fire symbol here, this might just be Leo. But with Memory, I think this is also, again, asking you to go into your memories about finances, about how you treated abundance or how people around you growing up treated abundance, and how can you dive into that and connect to it and flip the script. There's also a book right here, which I feel like maybe with this book, this might be a call to also going back and looking at old journals that you've kept and really getting in touch with a past version of yourself to see where the pattern has continued and where we can shift it. And then lastly, I have for you the card Patience and Persistence. Have patience while the path clears. Expansion can cause old energy to be released. Let it go. Stay focused on your goal. So again, this is about kind of hashing the past so that we can move forward from it. So I hope this reading resonated with you, pile number 3. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please do not forget, when you stand on your own authenticity, you empower everyone around you to do the same. Don't forget to check out my Patreon, where there is exclusive content, early access to content, a whole library of pick-a-cards that you can't get anywhere else. They're only on the Patreon. The moment you sign up on Patreon, you get access to all of that, as well as weekly energy that we do together, live streams that are private and only for Patreon, all kinds of fun stuff. So please do check it out. It does allow me to continue to do work here, so I really appreciate that support. And as always, it is not expected, but always appreciated. I do have my Cashapp, Venmo, and PayPal listed down below if you would like to tip me for my readings. Again, I don't expect that, but it is certainly appreciated. I link all the cards down below for you as well. And we also have my Instagram, my TikTok. I'm at Kloee Taylor. My podcast available everywhere you listen to podcasts. It'll be returning in January, so definitely make sure you tune in. Links down below. And I love you so much, Pumpkin. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your week.